Yeah, there you are. Tried to call you a little earlier, but I guess you couldn't hear me. I heard you asking for hello, hello. Great. I've got some interesting news. Thing that we had suspicion on that now we have confirmation on. Obviously, when we made some filings and whatnot in the last couple of weeks, because of information we had on each individual situation personally, we found out that your shares do in fact have 2-to-1 warrants on them. Warrants are a kind of a sweetener. It's like an incentive that companies can attach, like an option on a share. Usually they do it to inspire people to buy more so that the money that's raised can be used to progress a small company forward in its evolution. It's not uncommon. What is uncommon is that we didn't know about it prior to going in on this blog, nor did any of the other firms moving with us on that same occasion, nor did the predator. So sometimes a surprise can be a good thing, sometimes it doesn't necessarily. In most cases, it's not always a good thing. But in light of this, getting additional shares, each share that represents a vote, and having a guaranteed exit strategy at the exact same price, that's a positive, a very strong positive, in fact. I know what to go before I know, and now we know. Now, the 2-to-1 warrants at 85 cents gives you an entitlement. It means you have the right to buy 100,000 shares at 85 cents. Each of those shares, again, would fit into the exit strategy, into the acquisition, and you get $2.50 for them. So it brings down your average cost in retrospect of the dollar that you pay on the first batch, and increases your supply, which obviously enhances the amount of profit that you would make. I can foresee that you, in the situation that you're in, that you're asking, wouldn't appreciate the fact that there's an $85,000 invoice attached to that. I would probably guesstimate that you wouldn't appreciate the fact that those 100,000 shares eligible would cost you $85,000. I've got it close at hand. So each person is being notified appropriately, and in some cases it's very, very, the best possible news for some. And the greedy hat goes on and they start calculating just what they're going to pull in the short term. Others are saying, I wasn't expecting this, which is normal, and I don't have that much liquidity to be able to take all the warrants. What can be done? In which case, we're looking into it. And, other people we're still trying to reach. So everyone's got their own take on this, but overall, as far as profitability and percentage gains, it makes a very positive statement for our company. It makes our clients who are taking advantage that much more wealthy and gives them more abundance to opportunities in the future because of the increase in their liquidity situation. So I'm happy to report it. Obviously, it's just like I said, concerning your situation with what you've surfaced for us. It doesn't seem likely that you're sitting around 85 grand that you could spare. Well, because I know what you're asking for, and in light of the information, I did crunch a couple of numbers which do look quite favorable. But at the same time, I want you to understand that for us to try to offload those shares into the hands of another client, you're talking about a half-baked issue when you're looking at unexercised warrants. And I would only say that because in the eyes of a predator, any shares that are eligible to be turned into countable votes towards an acquisition could be looked upon as wild cards, swing votes, if you will. And that adds a bit of risk to their plate. And if they're the same way about risk that I am, in the hush-hush mode that they've applied to this as the acquisition is going through, they probably would be happy to know that everybody claimed their own warrants and that the people that are ready and officially lined up to offload those shares are exactly as was. The exact same percentages, albeit the shares have increased. It doesn't change. If you had 100,000 shares and now you have 300,000, but the float went up 3 times, it's all the same percentages, you understand. So we'd still be sitting with roughly 14% of what they need. However, it all works out differently as far as the math is concerned. It's a little confusing perhaps, but it's just the way it is. Bottom line is, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to walk in and buy your shares knowing that they're going to have to pay $86,000 to exercise your warrants afterwards. My best suggestion to you is you claim your own warrants, and then I'll try to get you a good price for 150,000 shares, even if I only make you 25 to 50% on an offload. 25 to 50% of $150,000 is still a good chunk of change. Sure, but be that as it may, I'll find out in the next couple of days what can be done and what's happening, and I'll have some new developments for you, hopefully a little bit